Yes, dear students, once again, very good morning. So we are going to start with the next chapter from the book First Flight. That is, but before that, I want you to watch a video, observe the video carefully. Then I will ask you some questions, right, based on the video. So let me just play the video for you.
At this table are our three actors. Nobody else in the restaurant knows that this is an act and that there are hidden cameras everywhere, ready and waiting to capture any reactions.
Well, I was telling Tarun before we actually shortlisted me for the interview, we had a telephonic conversation. And I was just telling him about my past experiences in the marketing, in the companies that I've worked. I've learned from what I've done.
So what exactly would you like to do in the company? Where?
So definitely marketing strategies and analyst and various.
I was hoping you wouldn't say marketing, actually.
But he's got a fantastic resume, no?
No, he may have a wonderful resume and all that, but we're looking for very presentable people. I'll be very honest with you, it would not work for you because you're dark. You're a little too dark. You're darker than what somebody that I would employ as a front marketing person.
The customers at the next table begin to react, but they don't actually step in or do anything.
You're employable, you're highly employable, you're definitely qualified, you have experience, you've done everything. But at the end of the day, complexion matters. The darkness really does matter. You know,
I don't understand. So why would they have to do anything with the...
Tarun, you put me in this mix. If you could...
It's clear that people at this table are upset, but they only discuss the issue amongst themselves. They don't intervene yet.
If you can consider me even for an internship in your marketing department, so that will be great. So I'll make my way. I'll prove myself.
I'm really sorry.
Finally, as this customer is about to intervene, others on the table pull him back.
What's got that? Is dark and what's the name of those creams? Yeah, those people use. I think you should have told them to use this fairness cream or something. He needs to just get some fairness cream.
So I'll do it. I'll do that also. So if you give me just one chance,
I'll give you the job now. It's a very simple. Fact, you really disturbed me. I've flown all the way.
I'm really sorry about that, sir. I mean,
I've flown it for this interview.
Finally, they decide to complain to the waiter, though there's little a waiter can in fact do.
This is because your face is like I'm not going to give you a job.
At the end of the day, you're just up for the job. It boils down to that. Complexion matters.
sir, please.
No, I'm sorry. But you have to understand that in marketing, this is the way it is. I'm going on explaining it.
Sir, please, sir. I mean, my experiences.
Finally, a lady at the table is too upset to allow this to carry on. Both mother and daughter come to our actor's table and let him know what they think of his behavior.
I'm sorry. Sorry? Tell me.
Because you're talking nonsense about objectionable in color.
But in marketing,
Yeah.
GSH and enterprises. I'll talk
You're a
softly.
racist person. Which company are you from?
GSH Enterprises. You just come in.
We make certain that I will put it out on the net that nobody buy anything of you or do anything with you. You're a racist.
Marketing person has to be
You're also
fair.
black in color.
No, but in marketing,
Oh,
we
you're
have to
also
be
black
fair.
in color. What the hell?
See, in India, we are full of all these. India's full of all these fairness.
Don't work for this company. They are racist.
Finally, before things get out of hand, we let everyone know that this is part of a social experiment and these are our actors.
And I have to be restrained from being forceful.
People think that color discrimination is no go in India, right? So there are actors.
That's fine. If it was, we got the message. It's fine.
I want to kill you. I want to kill you.
I think you did a good
You did a
job.
fantastic job, but you were revolting. You were revolting.
In other words, you acted very well. In other words, you acted very well without the thing. And I'm sorry to say this. My impression was, these guys restrained me. My impression was that's going to come here and toss this table on your face. Yeah, that's how good you were as an actor.
There's an awakening in society. Let's be honest. We need to become more aware. And also to encourage about corruption, which most often we ignore. Yes, exactly. And this gentleman was fabulous. Yeah.
You're black in color, I'm white in color. I gotta get the job. You can't get the job. I'm going to bar over there. I'm more intelligent because of my color. How the hell does it work? It works on your IQ power. That's all that works. And if we don't stand up for it, India's going to go down the damn drain. That's something I can't handle.
Want to get up the first minute. People kept holding back. I said, listen, take it easy. Just let me. That got too much, you know.
Let's be tolerant for the other person. Let's not say, I am better, my religion is better, my language is better, my color is better. Let's just say, that's another human being.
So students, you have watched the video, right? Now, first thing that I want to ask is, what are the words that catch your attention during the video? Yes, one can unmute and tell those who have raised hand.
Racist.
Racist, okay. And what is the other word? You can continue telling me the word one by one. Yes, beta, unmute and speak.
Yeah, IQ power, the equality that people hold despite
Okay,
of their
IQ power. Yes, being human beings, equality. Yes, Ria, what is your word?
Ma'am, black.
Black. Any other word? और कौन से शब्द आपके कानों में पड़े?
Marketing.
Marketing. Okay. So from the video, we see that the words that actually catch our attention: racist, dark, black, color discrimination, right? So now, although this video, it was just an experiment which was done by NDTV to check people's reaction, how people react to these kind of situation in our country. So my next question is, do you think the scenario actually exists in our country? Do you think the scenario is still there? Yes, Ria?
Yes, ma'am.
You don't think it is
Yes,
not
ma'am.
there?
This scenario actually exists.
Okay, can you elaborate it? How can you say that?
Because we can think like some Indians are like doing some, they are racist and they just prefer a white color over that. And they don't prefer the persons like who are, we can say from low caste and having a color like black. So they are not, they are racist.
Okay, you consider them racist who discriminate people on the basis of the color. Okay. Yes, Bhumi. Unmute and tell
No,
your
ma'am.
observation.
No, ma'am. I don't think that it really exists in our country right in this scenario, because now our countries were developed, and now it is very backward thinking that was kept in 19th centuries in villages and town, in only in villages it can be uh, see that a person is selected on its complexion, because now it doesn't matter to any company that how the person complexion is. It matters how how the person can help them to gain profit. So
Okay.
I don't think so.
Okay. Chaliye, welcome. Your views are welcome. Yes. Next, Achal, add your view to it.
And yes, I would agree to Bhumi, even though there are a few developments in India. Like I can give the instance of that one Fair and Lovely cream that had happened in the beginning, and it changed to Glow and Lovely just because people revolted that why fair is only beautiful.
Yes.
And that's that I think that only in quite orthodox places and backward places like the villages, the idea of fairness has affected people. Otherwise, the people are slowly changing into modern thinking
Yes,
that
gradually. Yes, their mindsets are changing. Yes, Khushi beta.
I don't think the mindsets of the people have been changed, because मैम जो garbage collectors आते हैं हमारे घर में, अगर वो पानी के लिए पूछते हैं तो हम उन्हें जिस ग्लास में पानी देते हैं उस ग्लास से हम लोग खुद नहीं पीना पसंद करते हैं. हमारी फैमिली में जो होता है मैं आपको वो बता रही हूँ, क्योंकि हमारी फैमिली में ऐसा थोड़ा सा बैकवर्ड टाइप थिंकिंग है हम लोगों की. तो मैम लास्ट ईयर से
Okay, let's not go from the personal point of view. Let's talk in general. Okay, your views are welcome.
In general
yes.
also, in general, I want to say that अभी भी ऐसे लोग हैं जो मैम बैकवर्ड क्लासेस से आते हैं, वो खुद भी कभी नहीं पसंद करते हैं जाना. I have seen a person like they asked कि आप चेयर पे बैठे थे वो, and they asked कि आप मतलब किस कास्ट से आते हैं. तो he said कि मैं एक हार ऐसे कुछ उसने बोला। तो जिसने सामने वाले से पूछा कि आप किस कास्ट से आते हैं, उन्होंने कहा कि मैं पंडित हूँ। तो उनके लिए उन्होंने मुझे कहा कि आप, मैंने कहा आप चेयर पे बैठ जाइए, मैं खड़ी हो गई, वहाँ बड़े बैठे थे, तो मैम उन्होंने कहा कि आप बैठे रहिए, और वो नीचे बैठ गई।
Okay, so we
उन्होंने
have
ऊपर
mixed
बैठना पसंद
reaction.
नहीं किया।
Yes, okay, chalo. Thank you, Kushi, for sharing your point of view. Now, see, of course, we see this kind of racial discrimination in our country as well. Now, see, previously, when people used to go to choose a bride, ladki dekhne jate the, right? So, matrimonial column mein, what was the first thing that we used to see? Fair complexion, fair bride needed, right? So that way, yes, the discrimination was there. Even the TV ads, you see, fair and lovely, है ना, आपको गोरा बनना है तो कैसे use this cream and that cream. But somewhere now we see there is a change in the perspective also. Fair and Lovely, they have changed their name, brand name from Glow and Lovely. But definitely, जो mindset है, it will take time to change, right? So we see in our country also different kind of discrimination do prevail. So let's talk about the next thing, that is, what are the different kind of discrimination prevailing in India? Can you name some? Discrimination in our country or around the world, or what basis people are actually discriminated? Can you name some? Same hands raising again and again. Let me just see who are in the list. Yes, okay, again, same students are there. Anybody else who would like to share? Chaliye, let me take answer from Ria again. Yes, Ria. Discrimination and its
Some
type.
people, some people who are belonging from low caste, they are discriminated. And sometimes we can see that the girls are not safe in India because they are also discriminated by gender. And
Yes.
we can say that some.
Yes, okay, good response, Beta. So there are discrimination in our country as well. Around the world also, we see people are discriminated on the basis of religion, caste, gender, even age and disabilities. We find this kind of discrimination. So what is needed, the thing that is needed is that we rise above all these narrow thinkings. We should consider all as human beings and thus treat them fairly and equally, right? So I have another video just to make the concept of discrimination clear to you all, right? Let me just share the video again. Just give me some time.
Discrimination is treating someone unequally, for instance, because of their skin color, age, or sexual preference. Discrimination is excluding people because of characteristics that shouldn't matter. You shouldn't be refused entry to a club because of the color of your skin. And anyone should be able to run to home, whether they're gay or wear a headscarf. Is treating people differently always discrimination? No. Some characteristics do matter. It is okay for an employer to choose between job applicants, for instance, because of what they study. A doctor obviously needs the right qualifications. But what if you don't get a job because of your faith or skin color? Well, that is discrimination. Another example. In the Netherlands, you are not allowed to ride a scooter until you are 16. In this case, the age restriction is about safety rather than discrimination. It would be discrimination if people with red hair weren't allowed to ride scooters, because the color of your hair has nothing to do with the ability to safely ride a scooter. Sometimes discrimination is very visible, and people openly show that a particular group is unwelcome. Think of neighbors shouting that they don't want foreigners in their street. But sometimes people make up excuses to shut out particular groups. An employer may reject an applicant because they don't fit the team, or the internship's been filled. The bouncer at the club may claim it's a private party. Proving this discrimination can be tricky. In short, discrimination comes in all shapes and sizes. Sometimes it is voiced and visible, but sometimes it's hidden and hard to prove. In each country, people that are very different live together. Banning discrimination based on those differences is an important basis for an open, democratic society. It means everyone is equal before the law and has equal rights, and that no one is allowed to exclude you because of characteristics that don't matter. Because being excluded and discriminated against is painful for the person it happens to. It is also damaging for the whole of society. Tensions can develop between people, or because certain groups are shut out, opportunities may be lost, both for them and the rest of society. That's why it is important that everyone is equal before the law. So, whether applying for a job or a house, or trying to pass a driving license or other qualification, No one should be unfairly turned down. Do you wear a headscarf or prayer cap? Is your skin white, black, or in between? This should and must not matter, because we are not all the same, but we are all equal.
So hope the concept of discrimination is clear to all, right? Just give me a minute. Yes. So the term discrimination is clear to you all. So we see that how people are discriminated on the basis of their religion, caste, gender, disability, skin color, right? So all these are different types of discrimination. But one thing that we as humans need to understand is that we should rise above all these narrow thinking. We should not limit ourselves to these kind of discrimination. Rising above and taking a stand against these kind of social levels, discriminations, we should actually give respect to the human beings and treat them fairly, right? Now coming next is a visual for you. I know you all know this man. So is the man in the picture there? You can answer.
Mahatma Gandhi.
Yes,
Mahatma Gandhi.
Mahatma Gandhi, the father of the nation. So what is the contribution of this man to our country? What is his contribution?
Freedom. Fight for
Freedom struggle. Yes, he fought for the freedom of our country, right? He made people aware. He taught people the importance of being free, understanding oneself, becoming self-reliant, and how to maintain our dignity, right? And thus, he actually contributed towards bringing freedom to our country. Now try to recognize this picture. Who is the man with Gandhiji here?
Nelson Mandela.
Very good. You all know that he is Nelson Mandela. And you know what his full name is? Nelson Olihala Mandela. The R is pronounced very softly here. So it's Olihala Mandela, right? So he is known as the architect of freedom of South Africa. When we talk about Nelson Mandela, he is also known as father of the nation there in South Africa. He spent a lifetime fighting against apartheid, right? So what is apartheid? We will be discussing next. But do you want to know more about Nelson Mandela? So I'm going to share another video here. I hope you'll enjoy watching about life story of Nelson Mandela. So just give me a minute so as I can start the video.
Nelson Rolihlahla Mandela began his life herding sheep and cattle in the rolling hills of South Africa's Eastern Cape. In his autobiography, part of which was written secretly while in prison, Mandela wrote, "I was not born with a hunger to be free. I was born free. Free in every way that I could know. Free to run in the fields near my mother's hut. Free to swim in the clear stream that ran through my village. Free to roast mealies under the stars and ride the broad backs of slow-moving bulls. It was only when I began to learn that my boyhood freedom was an illusion, when I discovered as a young man that my freedom had already been taken from me, that I began to hunger for it." Nelson Mandela's given name, Rolihlahla, literally means tugging at the branches of a tree. But at school, he was given the name of another famous leader.
When I went to school, the lady teacher, Miss Mtingane, asked, "What is your name?" I told her my African name, Rolihlahla. She says, "No, I don't want that one. You must have a Christian name." So I say, "No, I don't have one." She says, "You are, from today, you're going to be Nelson."
So henceforth, he would be known to the world as Nelson Mandela. As the son of a chief, Nelson Mandela had access to the best education available to black people in South Africa at the time. Studying at Fort Hare University, where he first became involved in student protest, his refusal to accept injustice, unfairness, and inequality would last a lifetime. South Africa, 1941. In his early 20s, Nelson Mandela moved to Johannesburg, where he first encountered the racial discrimination that would later become entrenched in law by the apartheid government. Working on the mines and later as a clerk in a law firm, Mandela pursued his law studies and joined the African National Congress, the oldest black political organization in South Africa.
It was when I came into the African National Congress that I realized that causes are only a part of the African people. That the task of the ANC was to unite the African people and out of them build a nation.
In 1948, the nationalist government was voted into power by the white electorate in South Africa, and the battle lines were clearly drawn.
Comrade Oliver said, well, I like this because we now know we have an enemy in power. And I think that we're going to have a better opportunity of mobilizing our people.
Our policy is one which is called by an Afrikaans word apartheid. And I'm afraid that has been misunderstood so often. It could just as easily, and perhaps much better, be described as a policy of good neighborliness.
In 1955, the ANC and other organizations called upon people of all races to gather in Kliptown to approve the Freedom Charter, a blueprint for a free, democratic, and multiracial South Africa, in which all races would be treated equally. Nelson Mandela, one of the chief organizers of the gathering, was banned by the government from attending and was forced to watch proceedings from the sidelines. In 1956, the organizers of the Freedom Charter and other leaders in the Congress movement were charged with high treason. The trial was specifically designed to occupy the opposition and keep them out of politics. It dragged on for 4.5 years, and it would be another 40 years before the Freedom Charter finally bore fruit. South Africa, 1960, Sharpeville, a black township in the industrial area south of Johannesburg. A peaceful crowd gathered to protest against the passed laws was shot at by police. 69 people died. The nationalist government imposed martial law. All opposition was banned and thousands were jailed. When it became clear that all means of peaceful negotiation had been exhausted, Mandela went underground to lead the armed struggle.
We have made it very clear in our policy that South Africa is a country of many races. There is room for all the various races in this country. There are many people who feel that it is useless and futile for us to continue talking peace and non-violence against a government whose reply is only savage attacks on an unarmed and defenseless people.
Well, students, because of time restriction, I'm pausing the video here. We will resume from here tomorrow, right? So I'll play the video again tomorrow and we will then discuss what we have observed and we have learned from this video, right?